Why vision boards don't work. Visualization is one of the most powerful mind exercises you can do. So let's look at three reasons why a vision board may not work for you. A dream without a plan is just a wish. Welcome to Content Catalyst. I'm your host, Deb Zabo, and in this episode, we're going to explore if a vision board really does work. And if so, how can you use it to increase your success of manifesting your dreams and ambitions using a vision board? So let's look at what is a vision board. A vision board is a tool used to represent your wishes and goals. It's a collage of images and words that are intended to act as inspiration or motivation. So, here are three reasons why a vision board isn't working for you. Number one, vision boards don't work when they aren't aligned with your everyday actions. So on my 2024 vision board, I have a health related goal. Yet if I don't set myself up for success by implementing strategies and habits to make this a reality, then it won't come to fruition. So no matter how much I aspire to fit into my size 8 red dress, I am not going to attain my goal if I eat bad food and don't exercise all the time. So to make dreams and goals come to life, you have to change what you're doing. And a lot of people don't like change. So, to increase your success, you got to make peace with transformation and action. So, number two reason why your vision board may not be working is you're not setting realistic timelines for your expectations. The universe has a funny way of working. I've experienced this firsthand where I've wanted to go somewhere on a trip, on a retreat, and this happened to me last year. And I was like, okay, universe, what would it take for me to, have the funds to be able to do this? And literally within hours, it manifested itself. So, yeah, on the other hand, other goals haven't happened yet. And they're still coming to me in good time. But if my vision board is time bound within a 12-month time frame, I need to make sure I have a good game plan to make it happen. Otherwise, you're going to get disheartened and even doubt the magic of a vision board. Perhaps ask yourself, if I have a realistic time frame, and if I have, do I have a strategy of how I'm going to make this happen? Because that's going to greatly assist. So, number three of why your vision board may not be working for you is because you have, whether it's an unconscious or a conscious block on your vision. If my vision is to get out of debt and I haven't started my finance course, or I keep using my credit card on things I don't need, then it doesn't matter how many times I add this to my vision board. Until I identify that resistance and address that pattern, then I will forever be disappointed that I didn't achieve my goal. So, what is the psychology behind a vision board? Well, elite athletes have used visualization techniques for years as part of their training. And you can look online and find so many studies to show, like, statistics of the how the power of visualization can help you. Mindset matters. So if you believe that they work, then they're going to work for you, and it increase your chance of success. But if you're a true doubter that vision boards are a bit of hocus pocus woo woo and they're not going to work for you, then clearly there's there's a reality to that as well. So our minds are powerful tools, and where you can turn your thought or desire into reality really comes down to how we think about and how we approach what we're doing. So, just some stats that I found online. According to Forbes magazine, TD Bank surveyed business owners and found they're twice as confident they'll achieve their goals than those that don't visualize in some ways. So, if I want to be a speaker and I can visualize me up on stage and imagine the feeling of what it's like with people clapping me after I talk, then it has a dramatic effect on bringing that dream to life. Then, to further the dream coming true, I also then need to make an action plan. So, what would it take for me to be a speaker? Do I need to take a course, put a speaker kit together, and then advertise that I'm a speaker? So, in this survey that I found online, 1 in 5 small business owners used a vision board when starting their business, and they found that 76% of business owners said that their business is where they visualized it to be when they started by having a vision board. And then 82% of small business owners use that vision board from when they started up, and they reported that they'd achieved more than half their goals on their board. So there's plenty of statistics out there to show vision boards do help business owners achieve their goals. So let's look at when to make a vision board. I guess most of us feel inspired creating a vision board heading into the new year. I like to make my board, December. This year it was January, and then I like to review it each year and update it. I like to also review it throughout the year as well. If something um, isn't relevant anymore, then I like to replace it with something else. And I had a trip planned last year that I decided not to take, and that was halfway through the year. So then I ended up replacing it with something else to free up space for that. But that's not to say that that won't happen for me. It just wasn't going to happen for me in 2023. So, what's the best thing to put on your vision board? Well, here are 3 things that you can include. So, you can include like a goal orientated inspiration, for instance, towards earning money, a theme related idea, such as a travel destination, or an intuitive thought or dream. So, and this is where you're not sure what you want, but you use the picture that appeals to you. It's the idea of it. I also then like to break down my vision board into business goals, development, and personal aspirations. So, how to make a vision board? Well, I like to start by spending some time sitting and thinking about my intentions before I start making out my vision board. I actually did mine over a couple of days this year because I just sat with it for a while. I put some images in there, and then I came back to it, and then I attached some words to it. So you don't have to do it all in one hit. You can put stuff up there and then come back to it depending on how you like to work best. So vision boards traditionally were made with, say, cutouts from a magazine. You go through, you cut out images that inspire you, and then you get like a pin board or a cork board, and you stick it or pin it up on there. And if you're a tactile person or a crafty person, this style of vision board may work for you really, really well. For me, I like things on my computer because I like to access things from anywhere. So, can a vision board be digital and still effective? Well, I'm going to say yes, because mine uh, vision board from last year, I think all but 2 things on my board came true. And I designed my board in Canva as well. So I like to use a combination of images. I had such as photos of me in a certain place. And then I also like to use stock images as well. So these help me to represent a feeling or a location that I want to go to. So this year I'm going to a certain retreat or a conference. I will take an image from last year's, or one that is just a generic image of that location or that hotel that it's going to be held at, and I put that on there. I then like to use the like a word or words or the goal itself against that image. So, for example, one of my business goals was to grow my mailing list. So I've put grow my mailing list by 5,000. And then on the vision board itself, I also like to add in my word for the year. So I've started doing this over the recent years, where I've picked a word that inspires me, that's like my North Star. It's my theme. It's how I want to live my life, or how I want to be inspired for that particular year. So this year, my word for 2024 is transformation. So I have that around me because it reminds me that everything that I do is based on transforming what was into now. And that requires me to be open to change as well, because transformation is change. So where do you put your vision board? Well, that's a personal thing, and you can pop it anywhere you like. Some people might like to put it in the office. Some people like to put it in their bathroom. I actually have mine on my desktop. So every time I open up my screen, I can see it in front of me. You can put it on your phone, wherever you feel that is a prominent place that will prompt you to be reminded of what you're focused on, because what we measure grows. So having it somewhere where you can see it every other day has a really powerful impact. I also recognize the importance of detachment when manifesting. So you don't want that desperate energy. Like if you create your board, you might want to put it away once you've made your plan, and then you sit with it and feel it, uh, knowing that it's done. And I know I've done that in the past where I've written down in journals goals and things, and then I'll put it in a drawer. And then a year later, I'll pull it out and I'll go, oh my God, like literally magic happened to make those things come to life. And I tick off going, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. So that's where there's that lovely balance between having it prominent, having it in your face, and also then not having it and putting it away somewhere. I'd love to know, what do you do? Connect with me on Instagram and shoot me a message, because I'd love to know, do you have a vision board? Do you have it prominently displayed, or do you write it down or pin it up and then put it away and not look at it for a year? Uh, yeah, it's really interesting. And I think the thing is, I love dreaming big, and a vision board allows me to do this. But just remember, the universe doesn't always operate on Eastern Australian Daylight Saving Time either. So it's important. Don't get disheartened if everything hasn't happened in that year. For me, like I said, there was 2 things on my list that hadn't come true, and that was out of 15 things. So if out of those statistics, you kind of look at it and go, well, I was mindful of all of those things that were on my list, and the 2 that didn't come true. Well, I go back to those 3 points that had happened for me. Did I have unrealistic time expectations of it? Or was there something there that I had an unconscious block on? And I'm always mindful of that as well, of some things you just don't even realize that you're carrying these patterns, and until you identify that resistance, then you're always going to be disappointed. So it's important to think about, do you have any things that you need to reflect on that might be a block on making your vision come true? A really powerful tool to help bring your vision board and your goals and your business goals or your personal goals to life is that once you've created your board, I actually recommend writing out a plan to help you achieve your dreams. Okay. So start at the goal and then work backwards. So if my goal was to launch a podcast, then I would start with, having my podcast up and out. What are the steps that I would need to have to happen? Well, I need to learn on how to make a podcast. I'd need to record my podcast episode. I'd need to have to sign up to where I'm going to host my podcast, write out my content. So that's why I say start backwards. What are the steps that you need to make those goals come true? And one of the things that you can do when doing that is write down 5 things that you need to do to make that goal a reality. What are 5 steps that you need to do to bring that dream to life? The other thing to ask is, what are the 5 things that you would have to stop doing to make that vision a reality? And my favorite question to ask when manifesting something is, what would it take to blank, fill in the blank? So what would it take to get a new car? What would it take to launch a podcast? I said, have a plan, break it down. Once you make your vision board, start to think about, what are the steps that you need to take to make it happen? Because vision boards are powerful, and what we focus on expands and becomes our reality. So where our intention goes, energy flows. So do you have a vision board? If you want to get my template, I last year had a template that I used, and it was a lot of images over images. And if you can imagine, sort of, lots of busyness on a vision board, which was fine. But this year, when I was looking at templates, I went through and I'm like, I really like things in an orderly um, style. And I found this really awesome template, and It's got the little images at along the board, which is all really nicely organized. So if you're a little bit OCD like me and like a little bit of order, then go and check out my vision board template, which is on my website. You can download it for free. Just go to debszabo.com/resources, and there you'll be able to get my free vision board template. And all you need to do, it's in Canva, the template's in Canva, so you can go in there, add your images, type over the writing so you can add in your own inspirational words, and then stick it somewhere that inspires you and reminds you of your vision for the new year. I've also got on that resource page, you can also get a planning calendar. So if you need help mapping out your year, you can also download that. And that is a Google Sheet. So you can go in and literally use that template to map out each month. So, for example, I'll go in there and I'll put, like, say, school holidays. I'll go in there and I'll add my conferences away. I'll add in there my launches when I'm launching and any key dates. And I just find that having that, and I review it every other day, every other week, and see what's moving and what's coming up as well. And that really helps me plan how I'm going to achieve my goals. So, did you make a vision board last year? And if so, how many of your goals and dreams came true so far? I'd love to know. Connect with me on Instagram, which is debszabo_video, and share with me any of your dreams or visions that came true if you made a vision board, and what's on your vision board for 2024. Well, that's all for me. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Content Catalyst. Until then.